Hey, we are live. We are live on the Green Umbrella Facebook page. We're live on my LinkedIn profile. We're also live on the Green Umbrella YouTube account. Now, that's an interesting thing. I'm having a conversation with someone next week about our YouTube account to see what tips they've got for us to drive our YouTube account further. Someone that specialises in YouTube and has done some pretty amazing work with YouTube channels. So I'm looking forward to that. So there you go, a bit of useless information that will be important for two of you and no one else that watches the Green Umbrella Live Lunch. But it's fine because by the time the notification's out there and people actually join, that'll only be about now anyway. So like no one will know I said that on here. Anyway, so there we go. So how is everybody? It's 2 weeks since I've been in the office. It's mad.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And then we're not even there today.
No, it's just me and Kim here today. Just me and Kim. So it's very quiet in here. But it's, yeah, I mean, I feel like I almost like don't remember last time I did a live lunch. I know it's only like 2 weeks, but it feels a bit weird.
It was last week, wasn't it?
Yeah, you two, the Recruiters Day.
Yeah.
That was the week before, wasn't it?
Oh
no, I did do it whilst I was poorly.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of stuff whilst I was poorly with COVID. And this week I'm thinking, yeah, I probably should have just rested.
Yeah, you're a trooper for doing live lunch.
There's a lot of conversations. There's that afternoon I just crashed. I'm not going to lie. So I'd done a live session an hour and a half before live lunch. So I'd done an appointment, an hour and a half's live, and then I did live lunch, and then I was supposed to have another call, and I just went, oh my God, and I just laid down where I was. That was not sensible. But there you go. I'm back, guys. I'm back. We're all good. So, I mean, there's hold on. Ellie's just put in the comments. I've missed some interesting conversations. Probably best not to discuss all of that stuff whilst we're live streaming. And some funky dancing from Nicole.
Oh yeah, here we go. That's what I've been doing in the office. It's a bit of a cowgirl thing going on. But it was just to keep the positivity, you know what I mean? Because obviously it's been a very busy week with the build up to Easter. So I feel like each day I've probably got a bit more delirious and just kind of showing some of my awkward dance moves.
I've just been ducking down behind my monitor, and then every now and again I just look right, and it's like, all right, okay.
She's dancing again.
Just get used to it now.
Yeah, just a quick glance to the right. All right.
But this is
you okay?
but this is the thing. We're a high energy, creative. Like, this is the environment we're in. So there are times where the pressure is on and you're just not feeling it. And like, you need to be performing on like an 8, 9, 10 out of 10 in terms of where your energy is, but you feel like a 1 or a 2. How do you get from there to there? And it, actually dancing really works.
It really does. Takes the stresses away.
Yeah. If you've got to do a live stream, like whether it's just you're literally going live on Facebook, or you're about to deliver a piece of content, or you're recording videos for YouTube, whatever it is. Sometimes you need to every time you need to make sure you're in the right state to be able to deliver that content well. And sometimes it's silly things like standing up rather than sitting down to deliver that content. Sometimes it is like, so literally just before this, I was like, guys, I still don't really feel it. And I'm like bouncing in my chair, like literally as we go, just to get some energy into that, because energy creates energy, right? So it's like, it sounds like a silly story, Nicole dancing in the office, blah, blah, blah. But you've been full on this week in terms of like content. It's like, it's Easter holidays, people on holiday, you've got additional workload. It's kind of like to get through it all and make sure that you're delivering for every single client. You've got to pitch yourself up there. So you keep going with the dancing, Nicole.
Yeah, Christina, I introduce you to a few when I'm back.
That's it. And what about you, Mark? What have you? So have you just been sat there being grumpy in the corner whilst all this has been going on the last 2 weeks?
Just sort of, just observing and just look every now and again, look around. So if Nicole's not dancing, she's just giving a disapproving sort of shake of the head sort of thing if something's been said in the office. So it's been one or the other really. So I'm just moderating.
Amazing. And you've been working on some website projects that have sort of come into, well, you're in that weird space where you've got some that come into an end and some that are just kicking off, haven't you?
Yeah, so started another couple last week or so. So they've gone off to clients to be proofed, and then been doing some work on our own site on some bits and bobs as well, which is exciting for us, but not necessarily exciting for anyone else. So more techie stuff.
Let's talk about that stuff, because actually I think that is like the reason we do this is so that people see like what's actually happening on the, on the inside of the business. So, I mean, like mobile, okay, when you're looking at your websites from a mobile perspective, it's important that they work well. And essentially, we were looking at ours and being really, really critical and going like, it's not good enough, it's not fast enough. We didn't feel like we were ranking as well as we could do for certain search terms we're looking on. And I think we got caught up in this. We were telling ourselves a story that like the website's not shit on mobile, but that's essentially the story we were telling ourselves. We're like, oh, we need to fix it. So we've been looking at quite a lot of things. And we got someone who's like more of a technical SEO person. We got them to do an assessment of the site, because when you look at your own stuff, you're too close to it. And I think we both got off that call and went, oh, it's nowhere near as bad as we thought it was. It's actually quite good. There's actually some stuff we're doing really, really well, and we just hadn't seen and noticed that at all.
Yeah, no, I mean, like you say, it wasn't as bad as we thought. And obviously then you think about comparisons to other sites. So you're looking at other sites and seeing how we compare to those. And okay, we're doing okay. But then getting into it a bit more, you think, well, okay, how can we improve that anyway? So I've been working the last couple of days on just some sort of speed related things, so that within the Google Lighthouse page speed insights sort of tests that our mobile, it's not going to be every page at the minute, but we're getting the pages there so that they're equivalent now on mobile as they were on desktop. So we're getting that nice green across the board in the Google Lighthouse sort of stats there, which when that first happened, it was like, oh, at last. So bit of a relief, but it's a work in progress, as all these kind of things are.
And I think this is the thing, you've got to be really clear about the site as well. So like for us, for some businesses, a website is a brochure, and it's never going to get masses of traffic. It's not a particularly live thing. It's not something where the focus is that, the purpose of that site might not be to generate leads. For ours, it is somewhere that like we're constantly directing people back to the site through the blog, that kind of thing. Like our site is a huge site. There's tons of pages on there, and that's after we've like culled a load of stuff as well. There's so much stuff on there. It's a real valuable resource. So it's really important that it's like at optimum at all times. So the way we look at our website, there's not many of our clients where we look at the site in the same way, and that's because the objectives behind every site can be quite different. But what I would say is like, and Mark, thinking about like the design trends over the last few years, we kind of went into this, websites used to be quite text heavy, then they became more visual. Then we saw trends in terms of, great big images, videos, that kind of stuff. And what Google wants today versus those trends, it's like, if you go with the trends, your site's going to be slower and Google's not going to like it. Yeah. So it's like we're in a bit of a funny place right now, aren't we, in terms of like what a good website might look like, the features you might want to have from an aesthetic perspective versus actually making it work. So if you were going to start right now with, I love it when I ask these questions, put you on the spot. It's brilliant. We've just said what we're going to talk about today. No one mentioned discussing websites, right? Crazy. But if you were going to start, like we were just going to throw the Green Umbrella website out, someone else was going to build it for us, like aesthetically, what would you want to include in the brief in terms of like the visuals?
I think still for us, you know, that the branding and the imagery is still key. So I think we can still have images and still good size images. Obviously, we moved away from a homepage video probably about a year or so ago, thinking about that speed of load and things like that. But again, there are things you can do. If you do want that video on the homepage, maybe, you know, it can be set up so the video is only on desktop. And then on mobile, you have to accept that the actual mobile layout is going to be quite different to what the desktop version is. And we've had that with clients in the past where, you know, when we were going through this trend of like a lot of sort of desktop videos and things like that, which is great. But then you say to the client, well, actually, from a mobile point of view, it'd be better to hide that video and just have an image or something in the background on the mobile. But some clients just didn't understand that or want that. So, but then you come to a point like maybe 6 months later and they say, well, why is my site so slow on mobile? Because you've got that video on there. It's a trade-off. So we probably wouldn't have that, but I think we can still have, you know, properly sized images. It's like, you know, they can still be nice full screen images and things like that. But they need to be properly sized, optimized, and used perhaps a bit more sparingly than they were, you know, a few years ago again. So you think about where they're used on the page and things like that. Maybe don't have so many background images, you know, that sort of thing. Don't have everything as an image. Maybe just have some nice gradients or background colors instead, and things like that. If you want, you know, want that speed. That's the thing. Like you said, so for some people it doesn't actually matter and they want just something that looks absolutely great, but they're not so worried about that user experience as such. So, but we can advise on what, you know, obviously people would be best to do for their audience.
Yeah, I think sometimes as well it comes down to, you know, like how niche you are. The more niche your business is, the less kind of competition you're going to get when people are searching, you know, doing those Google searches where you want to be on page one. Yeah. So if that's the case, you don't necessarily need to worry about that so much. But, you know, the world of social media now is it's just massively overpopulated, right? If you do a search for anything relating to social media, you are going to get hundreds of thousands of results. So we're always going to be fighting against that. So there's you know, we do a lot of work in the world of recruitment. So coming up in search against like anything recruitment marketing related, the competition is far less. So it's about also thinking like, you know, who am I serving? What they're going to be searching for? How much competition is there then? Because if you're fighting against hundreds of thousands of results, you want to make sure that everything is on your side to make sure that you're performing in search. Whereas if it's something where, like, you know, it's only been searched for 50 times a day and there's not a massive amount of competition, then you can have the videos all day long because it's you're going to rank anyway.
Yeah, and we've got some clients like that where they're in perhaps a particular niche, especially in recruitment, where they've got a very small, you know, search demographic, if you like, and that is not as important. Then, you know, they can have those extra bits and still know that they're still going to be found for things that they need to be found for. But obviously we still need to monitor the actual loading of, you know, sites and things as well, make sure even, you know, those people that are finding it, you know, it doesn't take, you know, too long to load anyway. But yeah, you can still do it, but yeah, just have to think about what is right for the individual.
Awesome.
But yeah, it's been a good learning
okay
experience.
So Nicole, Nicole, let's bring you in. So how much has Mark been swearing whilst he's sat next to you trying to sort out this mobile? No, don't answer that.
Well, actually, I did break something yesterday for a few minutes.
Oh, did you?
What was
that? I cocked up the header on our site, but it was only a cache thing anyway when I was doing something.
Oh, and that was when I was going on the...
Yeah. No one would have noticed, honest.
I don't think you saw once about
really?
That situation.
Oh, cheers, mate. Pay you later.
Definitely, it's like we've got our values up on the wall now, which I absolutely. When I walked in this morning, they've all say thank you, Ellie, because I know you're watching. Ellie's put them. Well, I'm saying that this is where Mark's like, actually, I did it.
No, Ellie did it.
But they look great, and one of the values is loyalty. We're dedicated to each other and our clients. So like that, there you go. The values in action. Nicole has Mark's back. But yeah, Nicole, so right, so come on then, social media wise, stuff in the news, like I'm so behind on my reading from the last couple of weeks. So what have you got for me? What have you seen?
So one of your sort of, I guess, favorite apps is Clubhouse. So they've introduced a dark mode display now. So for all the night owls that love listening to a podcast or joining a chat room, they can, turn the screen to dark instead of light. But I prefer having on my phone anyway, like in the settings, I've changed mine to a dark mode anyway, because I just prefer it. So I feel like, but I've noticed Clubhouse, when I go in there, it is still very bright. So yeah, it's obviously something you have to change in the app. But yeah, I prefer dark mode displays overall. So yeah, that's something.
Yeah, so I've started reading it this morning, but I've not looked into it yet. They've also introduced like a in-app game feature, that's some sort of gamification. So I need to have a nose. I'll be honest, it's like what I found is Clubhouse now is definitely, this is where coaches and consultants are hanging out for sure. Coaches, consultants, influencers, like from the entrepreneurial world. So you know the Rob Moores, the John Lees, Ed JC Smith. It's like the kind of the people that are in the sort of entrepreneur education space. They're definitely still doing lots and lots of Clubhouse, and there's loads of stuff going on there. There's essentially one room now that I sort of join fairly regularly, which is the Winners Club, that they do this show every morning, Breakfast with Winners, and I know a couple of guys that have sort of started that and led that, and that's the only thing I really engage with now on Clubhouse. There's just very... It's such a shame. It's just not where it had that massive growth at the beginning. And then, basically, this is what happens with social media. Something starts and it's unique, and people either try and buy it, or they or they redevelop it. And it can go, in that situation, it goes one of two ways. So like Snapchat is still, around, and lots of people use it and that kind of thing. But it's not one of the big social media platforms. Okay. It's a bit like Pinterest. It's like, it's there and people use it and they use it regularly, but it's not like, everyone's heard of it, but it's not something that everyone uses. Whereas your Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, and now TikTok, they are our big five. And when you look at TikTok in comparison, it's like, although other people have tried to replicate it, if you look at, reels on Instagram and that sort of stuff, it's still been able to hold its own. What's interesting about TikTok now is when we think about new social media platforms, it always goes through this cycle where younger people use it, and then the process is described as aging up. So platforms age up, which means we get to a point where rather than it being young things like you, Nicole, using it, it's old buggers like me and Mark that are hanging out on there instead. And what I have seen over the last couple of weeks, of people are definitely talking about TikTok now as having aged up already, and it's probably the quickest that we've seen a platform do it.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, so I'm like TikTok, there's a lot of opportunity for people that are looking to market their brands using video. It's a massive opportunity on TikTok. And I think more and more people are like coming around to the fact that this is something they need to look at quite seriously.
Definitely. I feel when TikTok first came out, it took me a while to even sort of download the app. I just wasn't taking to it. But then, I feel, as you said, because it is in that big top 5, you don't want to fall behind with anything. So you have to kind of, bite the bullet and just get on those apps.
Go for it. Mark, are you on TikTok? No.
I've got an account, but I think the app's even offloaded at the minute on the phone. So
is it? You've not got into it at all?
No, I'll have another go.
A TikTok account, Mark.
Huh?
It even surprises me that you have an account.
Well, I feel like I should.
Are you a secret dancer? Do you little?
I've never posted on there. I follow a few people. That's about it.
Yeah.
So you don't have to dance to be on TikTok. I've got a bunch of content on there now. There's no dancing.
Yet.
Yeah, you're quite active, Christina. Post like most days.
It's Kim. It's not me. don't tell anyone. But yeah, I mean, it's like, but all we've done is repurpose content.
Yeah.
So it's content for something else, and we're just making it TikTok friendly. So it's not really been a major hassle. So Paul, right? So this is the problem with TikTok, right? Paul's like worded it perfectly there. Has that come up? No. Here we go. So Paul downloaded TikTok for the first time last night, and he then went down a 2-hour rabbit hole. 100%. That's the problem with TikTok. It's like you do not know where you're going to end up. And the thing is, the more you engage in it, the more it kind of learns who you are and what you're going to engage with, and then it starts to show you more of that stuff. So so yeah, crazy. So Nicole, tell me an account that you follow on TikTok that you would recommend.
I'm trying to think. I actually tune into a lot of lives on TikTok. That's really random because so when I'm scrolling, I get lost, just like Paul. I get into this 2-hour rabbit hole and I end up on loads of lives where people just play music. It's really random. So there was one time where I was doing an SMP. I remember, for a client, and I think it was just before I started, like officially. And I was listening to this jazz like account. Like he was just playing, or was it? I can't remember. It was either jazz or he was playing the piano and just playing covers on his piano. And I just thought it was just nice having the background whilst I was sort of cracking on and with the SMP. It was just nice to have in the background. And that was I can't remember his name. He's called Joe, but I can't remember his account name. But he's in like his 70s. And that's what I've really noticed. A lot of these people on the lives that I follow are in their like 70s. But so I guess like people are sort of jumping on it from older generations, I don't know.
There's I can't remember what the account's called now because I'm terrible at this stuff. But there is, I've literally opened it to see if I can find it quick, but I'm not finding it. It's a guy who he makes watches. And I'm sure the hashtag is like love your journey. And it's like he's done stuff like he's delivering his watches to people up and down the country. And he'll turn up somewhere and he'll post a video to say, I'm in the Icon Centre in Daventry and I'm going to start the timer, and the first person to come up to me and say love your journey, they can have a free watch. And it's like test the power of TikTok kind of thing. And there's like he's been in random places, and I think it was like it was somewhere local because I was thinking, it was like on the doorstep, like Milton Keynes or something like that, and said where he was, and it was like 7 minutes 32 seconds, and someone arrives and they're like barely breathing because they've raced from where the other side of the shopping centre to get to him or whatever. But it's really interesting. It's really interesting, and I love it because what a fantastic way of creating content that truly engages people, and and can engage real time as well.
Yeah, and obviously, like with that sort of getting a benefit from that yourself, it's like you're gonna be more encouraged to sort of join in and follow it, and then if it ever sort of happens around you, quickly get that.
Kim just found it. It's Tim Hayden is the name of the guy. Tim Hayden 6. Tim Hayden 6. If you're looking at TikTok,
I'm gonna follow him now.
But like I said, it's it's really interesting. But this raises an interesting point. So that's us just talking, going down a rabbit hole, talking about rabbit holes. But user-generated content. Okay, it's like if you could create content that your audience can actually engage in that way and become part of the content, that is so powerful. But also, if you can create those opportunities for your audience to create content that you can then use, that's massive value. I was talking to someone this morning. We talked about their Facebook ads came up in conversation, and they're running a couple of ads at the minute. And the one that's performing best is actually a photo that's come from someone in their audience. So it's not their imagery. It's not their, it would be the equivalent to us using, let's say one of our clients posted a video talking about a success that they'd had. Us using that in our ad would create a really high performing ad. Whereas a video of me saying how wonderful we are, it's like, yeah, whatever, Christina, cool. You're not going to, no one's ever going to run an ad where they're saying that their service is average at best. Do you know what I mean? It's like, that's like the trust level is just not going to be there. Whereas when it's coming from a third party, it's like, it makes it more real. And there's loads. I don't know if I've still got it open, actually. I was looking at something this morning to do with user-generated content and ads and that sort of stuff. Yeah, here it is. So some of the trends that we're seeing is, so things like, like we all know I really don't like polls on LinkedIn. But actually, that then creates some user-generated content because you can do something off the back of it to say, well, this is what our audience said. This isn't like we did a piece of research and it was run by Nielsen or whoever and yada, yada, yada. It's like, actually, we did this poll. Here are the results. Like our actual audience said this, and you can go and see the poll anyway. So I think that works really well. Obviously, testimonials, third person point of view. So again, like someone else talking about that particular thing, it builds trust because we don't trust the brands that we see online. We trust the strangers that we see talking about those brands. So like if you can bring that into your content, it's ideal. Also do some picture-in-picture stuff. Apparently that's been quite a bit of a trend as well. Although I have to admit, I haven't seen a lot of that. But I did think, that's quite interesting. So imagine we'd got some sort of visual explaining our service, but then we've got that video from that client saying what wonderful experience they had with us on top of that. I think that's quite interesting. But yeah, it's like, I'm just looking, let me find some stats for you. So 12 times the engagement on user-generated video. Right, the global user-generated content market is worth over 3.5 billion. 77% of marketers have an influencer marketing budget. Now, this is interesting because when you think about user-generated content, it's like you could incentivize it. We think about influencers being like someone we're going to go and pay a load of money to so that they do a live holding our branded water bottle or whatever, right? We don't have to look at it that way. We say, right, we've got some budget where if we ask people to create this piece of content for us, we can reward them. And it could be, you could handpick it and say, right, these people, because they've got, big followings or whatever, but you could just go out and say, right, genuinely, like, just go out to your database, say the first 10 people that do this, they're going to get this. Could be a Nando's voucher, it could be a free session with you, it could like whatever it is, like you can create budget around that and get user-generated content that way and sort of incentivize it, run competitions around it, that sort of stuff as well. But yeah, I love a bit of sort of, I love user-generated content, but what I really love is content that you're creating with your clients, where you're able to bring them into it. And I think TikTok really lends itself to that. You've got the split screen thing as well. So I might create a video, well, other people can then create a video with that. And that's quite interesting as well. Kim keeps telling me we should do some of that stuff. I'm like, yeah, we will. But we really do need to. We really do need to. Awesome. Okay, so Mark, I know you've got some stuff to talk about news-wise.
Well, yeah, just obviously, I'm sure a lot of people have seen that Elon Musk has basically bought a massive share of Twitter. So there's just so many things that have happened around that's just crazy. So he owns more than Jack Dorsey. So I think Jack Dorsey he's the founder of Twitter. He only owns about 2% now or something.
Yeah. So
wow.
So was it last? I'm trying to think when it was. Like last week, he bought 10%. Elon Musk bought 10% of Twitter, which you're like, crap. Like that's not nothing. You know, that's not nothing. And that day I was like, damn it, I should have bought shares in Twitter. Damn it. And then I'm even more frustrated now because so he's put an offer in to buy all of Twitter.
Has he?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that. I'd seen speculation that he was going to do a hostile takeover.
Yeah. He's basically said like, and it's like, it's a one-time offer, and basically if they don't take it, it's a one-time offer, it's at a premium, and if they don't take it, I'll have to reconsider my position as a shareholder. So it's like it's mental. It's like it's so exciting, but it's like it's crazy. But that's like I think literally this morning, last night or this morning. Yeah. So it's. I mean, the figure is. It was like something like $50-something a share, which like the price had gone up like 11-12% overnight anyway. So it's just crazy. So he's bought some, which has pushed the price up, and then he's made an offer on that high price for the whole thing. And you just think, like, why is he doing it?
No, what's he going to do? Because apparently he's got a lot of plans in place. And I've seen one of them, which this is really random, but he basically doesn't think that verified people should have ads. Like, he feels like, everyone who is verified or has a certain amount of followers, like, should be in a different category and shouldn't have any ads on there.
Or people that pay, or people that pay as well, that you wanted to get rid of it for that as well. So if you pay for Twitter Blue or whatever it's called, that you don't see ads.
That's really interesting.
So I saw a quote that was he was talking about Twitter being a place for free speech. So it was almost like that was the thing around it. But yeah, it's just crazy.
I'm just intrigued to see what he's going to do. Like, and now he's obviously saying that he wants the whole thing. He's basically threatening them, being like, give me the whole thing or else I'm going to back out. And it's he's going to, it's obviously, as you said, it's, I don't know, generating money. So it's him going out. I don't know, could that suffer?
And that's the reason he didn't join the board, because apparently if he'd have got above 14% of, that's the max he can have and be on the board. But if he's not on the board, he can own what he wants. I don't understand the world of sort of business and shares and things, but I did read that. So
it's crazy. It's just absolutely crazy, because it's like I don't even know how much the share prices have increased since the net. Like, I haven't looked at it in terms of what was the price after it was announced that he bought the. I think it was just under 10%, but we'll call it 10%. So I don't know. I haven't kept up to find out how much it jumped from like the day before that announcement to today, but I imagine it's huge.
I'm just having a look now. The offer is for 41.4 billion.
Be hard to say no, wouldn't it?
That's a lot of money, isn't it? $54.20 a share.
Would you take it, Nicole? If you were Dorsey?
It's a lot of money, but then it's like, I don't know, obviously, how much Twitter is making. And I don't know, because it's like it's your platform, and it's like, obviously, like, I think we've got to weigh, is Twitter working and how long sort of will it survive for with the current sort of state that it's in? Because that was something that Elon Musk said. Like, he actually tweeted on his account a list of the top 10 biggest followings on Twitter, like, and it was, you know, Justin Bieber, Lady Gaga, like Ronaldo. It was even put himself in there, like even like put himself as like number 8 or something. And it was like, even the caption was, "Is Twitter dying? These are the top accounts," and they're not even active on their like Twitter regularly. And I just thought, he does raise some good points, like what is going to get Twitter moving again. I'm not saying that it's at a standstill, but you know, yeah.
But if you look at so the stats have just come out as well for like top 10 downloads for Q1 of 2022.
Do you know how you'll love this? Because you love a voice note. Apparently he sent voice notes to the Twitter board to tell them that's what he wanted to do.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Voice notes are the way to go, guys. I'm telling you.
No, they are. Yeah.
It's all about the audio. But yeah, it's like, I don't remember the last time I saw Twitter in the sort of top 10 most downloaded apps. And like that list gets updated like every quarter.
Wow.
So it's like, you know, obviously like the TikTok is still performed, like TikTok, YouTube. I'm looking at it now. I've got it up on my screen. So overall downloads: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, Shopee, Telegram, Snapchat, Messenger, CapCut, Spotify.
Well, even Snapchat's in there.
Yes, Snapchat's at number 7. Like CapCut's like an editing tool, so obviously like people are using that to create the content for TikTok and Instagram and Facebook. You know, Spotify's in there because, you know, it's audio. So it's like this top 10 always tells us quite a lot about, there's a lot of assumptions, rather, I should say, we can make each quarter based on what the top 10 most like downloaded apps are, because it is telling us what people are looking for. It's telling us what people are wanting to work on. So, you know, this is why you're seeing, like, there's so much around video still, and especially that kind of TikTok reel style video editing, like even the editing tools that are out there. When you see an ad now for, let's say if you're on Instagram going through stories and you see an ad for some sort of photo video editing tool, what it's showing you is like, look how you can create something that would work really well on TikTok or Reels. Do you know what I mean? It's not like just you can put this caption on this image anymore. It's like, look at all this cool stuff you can do.
Yeah.
So we're seeing that. We're seeing loads of stuff around tools that you can use that, you know, like one-to-one messaging, or like chatbot automation, that sort of stuff as well. Because what we're seeing is like, you've got your overall downloads, and then you also get like, what are the App Store top 10, what's Google Play top 10, but it's all the same stuff. It's, you know, it's TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube is higher. So YouTube's number 2 in the App Store. It's not in the Google Play top 10, but that's because it's, you know, it's just on the device anyway, so people are not having to download it. But, you know, Messenger is there. You've got WeChat on App Store. You've got WhatsApp Business on Google Play. WhatsApp's on both lists. Messenger's on both lists. So you can see this is what the trend is. So therefore, marketing-wise, this is how we need to be looking at stuff. You know, Telegram's number 6 on Google Play. Telegram is, what's the other messaging app? I can't remember what it's called now. Telegram and, I'm going to look. Signal. Signal's the other messaging app. So do you remember there was all that controversy around WhatsApp changing its privacy rules and people didn't like it? People said they were going to abandon WhatsApp. And then we started to see people begin to use Signal, begin to use Telegram. Well, I very rarely see anyone appearing on Signal anymore. Telegram seems to be getting a bit more interest there, right? But WhatsApp is still like number 4 overall, number 3 in the App Store, number 5 in Google Play. And in Google Play, you've got WhatsApp Business at number 10 as well. So even with that controversy, people are still downloading the app, still getting into using it. So all those groups that are appearing on WhatsApp, that, you know, the voice notes and all that kind of stuff as well. It's like people forget about the controversy, the the negative stuff. Did you notice I couldn't say a word then, so I just switched it out? Did anyone spot that? I do that a lot. It's great.
I think it was smooth, Christina. You just jumped over it. You went, yeah, not going to work for me. I'm moving on.
That's it. So it's really like interesting when we would look at this stuff to go, right, where's stuff going to go? So bear that in mind. The fact that Elon is a creator. He's a developer of product. So it's quite interesting. Like, so with what we're learning about the world of social media communication, the online world, like moves into the metaverse, NFTs, all of that stuff, Elon Musk, as the creator and disruptor that he is buying one of the, making a play to take over one of those social media networks that people talk about in do people still use Twitter kind of way? A platform that is incredibly backwards at going forwards. It's very exciting.
Yeah.
Very, very exciting.
Yeah, I'm very intrigued to see what he's going to come up with, because he's definitely got plans. He wouldn't have he's obviously, unless he's just got too much money, then sense. But there is
a little bit of that.
I was looking at the worth of things where you were talking about that. So I was interested to see how much Meta is worth compared to Twitter. And Meta is still, even on that price that he's put in, what was it? What did we say it was? 43 million or something? Billion, sorry.
Billion.
Meta, I'm not sure what date this was. I think it was February, so it's going back a little bit. But Meta was worth 565 billion, but it was worth $1 trillion at one point. And that's dropped down. But Tesla is worth 905 billion at that point. But then it's nothing compared to Alphabet, obviously Google or Microsoft or Apple, which are, way up there in the trillions of dollars. So, but even so, it's still, a huge amount of money. And maybe he thinks he can use it, I don't know, to bring it up to that level of challenging Meta and Facebook and things. I don't know.
It is mad. So I've got my little app open. So Twitter shares right now, Twitter's at $45 a share.
So that's up from even up then, isn't it?
It's actually dropped a little bit. So what day was that? 5th of April. So I'm trying to remember when it was announced that he'd got the 10%.
It's about, I think it was last Thursday, just after live lunch or something, wasn't it?
Was it? So shares were, if I go back like a month ago, like $37. They went up to just over 50, and they've actually come down a bit. Like, we're being so geeky right now. This is what this is about. This is the conversation we'd be having in the office right now. So you all get to see this. And by the way, this is not financial advice. I haven't got a clue what I'm doing when it comes to buying this kind of shares and that sort of stuff. I just get really into it. I get really, really intrigued. So I'm like gutted that I didn't buy shares that day. It's well upsetting.
I do like his tweet though. The only tweet apparently it looks like he's put out is just says, "I've made an offer." ...
His ego.
and a link to like the financial documents or something.
Amazing. Oh, really? Right. Yeah. So let's create some context around this. So my little app thing. So if that's $45, what's that in pounds?
I don't know. Not without.
I was looking at
35 quid.
Did you say $45?
Yeah, 45. Yeah, $45. So it's
£34.
See, I said 35 then. I'm pretty good.
No, actually, it's £34 and 24 pence, so even closer.
There you go. See, I just want everyone to acknowledge just how good I am. Right, so in comparison, Apple shares right now are £13.92. Wetherspoons is £14.74. What else have we got here? Pinterest, £18.70. Tesla's 56 quid. Facebook shares are £180 a share.
Wow.
So it's really interesting when you look at it that way, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you think? Was it just me? I'm really sad. I feel like we need to move on. Sorry. This is like, but this is what I love about live lunch. We never know what's going to happen. We never have much of a plan, and it always works out really well in the end for me. The great thing is, because I'm focused on this, I can't now just go and like, you know, I'd be like that, bye. And then I really would be in trouble. So, right, what else we got to talk about? I wanted Kim to join us on this today, and I forgot to tell her.
Oh.
Says a lot for my communication skills. But she shared a link with us in the week, didn't she, about this new platform called BeReal? Did either of you look at that?
Yeah, very
Briefly,
briefly, yeah.
So it's interesting. I like the idea. So it's this new app, like God, you know, who knows whether it'll take off or not. And I think it's just US based at the minute. So, you know, time before it rolls out elsewhere. But basically, at some point in the day, you get a notification and you have 2 minutes from that notification to post something. That's how it works, isn't it?
Yeah. And
That's
then
That's pretty cool.
If you do post late, then everyone you're connected with gets a notification basically saying you're rubbish.
You failed.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
But so, there's no likes or anything like that, are there?
Couldn't see anything. I mean, it's basically there's no filters or anything like that either. So it's meant to be organic and of the moment sort of thing. And apparently it takes one photo with your front camera and one photo with your back. So it's like a selfie and what you're doing at the same time.
It's really interesting.
Yeah.
It does say it did actually launch 2019, but it's obviously getting a bit of a push for some reason.
Yeah,
I've not heard of it at all.
But if you think about TikTok, so obviously TikTok was Musical.ly, went over to like it's only the last 2 years that TikTok's really become as big as it has. 3 years at a push.
Yeah.
So
this will be interesting because it's almost like the Clubhouse thing. Like it's got a niche, but will it stick? Yeah.
It's definitely one we'll be watching, and once it's available in the UK, we'll be jumping on it and playing with it and seeing what we can come up with. But yeah, I mean, this is the other thing as well. Like all social media platforms start off with, we're going to be 100% organic. We're not going to have ads, blah, blah, blah. We're going to do something completely different. And these are all the votes. So it's like there's no engagement on it. There's no like buttons. Therefore, it's not going to feed that thing. And, you know, but then stuff rolls out. Oh, you can now interact and engage with your friends on BeReal in this way, and we're introducing ad features because, like this stuff, it's developed. It gathers funding so it can be developed, which means it's running at a loss, but it's got shareholders, and then like it needs to at some point gain traction, start making money, and where's that money going to come from?
When Elon Musk buys it.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, okay, let's wrap up there because Paul Green has just put a little comment on Facebook. Let's bring that. He says it's like tuning into Bloomberg today. Hopefully a bit more entertaining, Paul. Fingers crossed. But there you go. What have we talked about today? Websites, share prices. Yeah, websites and Elon Musk, pretty much. That's been it. That's the theme of today.
Would you sell Twitter for that much? Like, would you be like, absolutely? Or would you think, no, I'm going to, like, would you hand it all over?
I'd want to know what his plans were.
Because that's a lot of money. Like that could set you for life, obviously. But then it's like...
You could do a lot with that. And I think it also depends. So as an individual, I don't follow Jack Dorsey particularly closely, so I don't know what other stuff he's involved in. But I think if you've built a beast, but you want to get involved in other things, you want to do other stuff, then I probably would be saying, right, well, that would allow me to go and create the next thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, even if he's got 2% of that.
Yeah. So I'll be open and honest. Part of when I bought Green Umbrella, part of my plans include a goal that I want to hit by 2030. The reason being that I don't know what I'm going to want in 2030. If in 2030 there's something else that's calling me, then I'm still young enough to go and do something different, something new, something, whether that's instead of or alongside or whatever. So it's like keeps an option. Like I've got a goal that all my options are open. Now I can't imagine doing anything other than what we do, because like you guys, I love it. I love the people we work with and like the projects we get involved in, the successes and the pains that we help our clients achieve and go through. I just adore it. I can't imagine doing anything else. But
if Elon Musk offered
like there are, if he offered that, it would, right now, if I had an offer like that on the table, I'd be thinking, what do I really want to do with the podcast? Like the books I want to write and stuff like that, like the other work I want to do, the stuff I want to do with people that maybe can't, they're not yet in a position to engage our services, but they still really need help from people like us. Would that give me the opportunity to do that stuff? And would I get as much of a buzz out of that stuff as I do out of this? That's the conversation I'd have with myself.
Yeah. It just goes to show that money just doesn't buy happiness. As in, like, he could offer you all of that, but if it's something you love doing, you would want to, think about it first before thinking,
Purpose is everything. Okay, so purpose is everything. People are like, start with why and Simon Sinek and all that sort of stuff, right? But when you really get into it, what drives you is so important in terms of what you achieve. I was talking to someone about this the last couple of days. They're like, why do you do what you do? I was like, I'm addicted to success. And he's like, well, what does success look like to you? And I was like, this guy's a chiropractor. And I said, when you've treated someone and they get up off of your table and they're just like going, oh my God, because you've removed that bit of pain, or you've, given them that, that freedom or whatever it is physically. So that's success. Is it that shine in their eye? That's success. And we get to do that all day long, whether it's just a client telling us that they've converted that lead that's worth that much off the back of that one thing we helped them, that one email campaign we helped them with, or they've finally done their first live on Facebook because we've coached them and given that ability to create that thing. They've got their new website and they've got the first lead through the website and they're like, oh my God, and they're so excited. Like that moment of success, however big or small it is, the strategies we help our clients to implement, whether we're doing it for them or they're doing it themselves, creates all these little moments of success. I nearly swore. That's what I love. That's what I love. That's we get to succeed all day long. Like we do great things in our business, but we get to create that in other. We get to be the catalyst for those in that success for others as well. That's the bit I love. So it's like it's that versus billions, and money doesn't necessarily make you happy, right? But a lack of it can make you really freaking miserable. So we've got to be real about this stuff, right? So but it's if we had an offer on the table now, I'd be like, what are you going to do with it? Because this is like Green Umbrella. It's like I think, Mark, you're the same. Like, we own this brand. It's like it would matter what someone was going to do with it. If they were going to screw it all up and chuck it away and like it would never be seen again, it'd have to be a pretty freaking tasty offer. And we'd have a solid plan so that we could just go and do something else instead. So we still got to, like, it'd be like, right, Mark, what are we doing instead? Come on. But yeah.
And all these billions.
Yeah. Don't worry, we'll all be looked after. It'll be great. I'll have a spare bill for you lot to share between you, and you'd still be all right, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
Do me.
absolutely.
Elon, if you're watching.
Yeah.
I'll just slide into his DMs right now.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, right, on that note, this is like one of the best live lunches ever. Brilliant. I love it. Thanks, people. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. Whether you are watching on Facebook or LinkedIn, really appreciate you joining us. Whether you've joined us for the whole thing or just a few minutes, hopefully we've offered you a bit of knowledge, a bit of entertainment, a bit of something to think about. Whether that's about your website or Elon Musk or future green umbrella plans. Exits. Like, what's your exit strategy for your business? Drop me a note. Let me know. But that's it. We're going to do the little cheeky wave so that Jane doesn't get upset with us.
Yeah.
Right, let's wave and just say thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you next week, Thursday at 12. Who knows who'll be on here with us? No idea, but it will be fun. We'll see you then.
Bye.